Does make some noise, but not enough. Oh, are you kidding me?
Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another episode of CSGO News. This time a special video for all of you, kind of a CSGO News leak video, but I want to warn all of you, first off, no leak out there is 100%, especially with a major qualifier coming up in still 2 weeks time. I believe it's going to be late June, so around the 29th of June. There is still so much that can actually happen before the 29th of June, but for all you Swedish Shovel fans who are here watching this video, all of these trades should be finalized by the end or before the major qualifier on June 29th. So whether these trades actually do or do not happen, I cannot guarantee any of that, but here are the likely predictions of what's going to happen throughout the Swedish Shuffle for three of your favorite teams out there, NiP, Godsent, and Epsilon. These are my projections based on a source close to several players in the pro scene out there. None of them are 100%, but some are more likely than others. So first off, I do want to touch on NiP's roster going forward. So first off, their guaranteed roster, they will maintain Get Right, Exist, and Draken. Draken, their most recent actual pickup from Team Epsilon. He's also their opera on the team. He is under contract. He will not be leaving that roster, as many people out there do think he's the go-to with the four-man roster. They want to stick together. That is certainly not true. It will be Get Right, Exist, Draken, and apparently Lekro will be picked up from Godsent alongside Rez will be bought out from Epsilon. Now currently Rez does have a $200,000 buyout as posted by Epsilon. That will most likely not be matched, but will be negotiated down, and they will pick up former Draken teammate Rez, which I actually talked about a long time ago, them being great teammates on Epsilon together. Draken picked up first, now Rez also allegedly joining NiP. So the five-man roster for NiP going forward would be Get Right, Exist, Draken, and Rez, the former teammates, alongside Lekro from Godsent, and that would mean they would lose both Forrest and Freiberg. The duo would now be leaving, but they would leave together to join Godsent. So Godsent's roster moving on would indeed be Twist, Disco Doplin, which is one of the projected picks that people thought would be leaving that roster. He would stick around alongside Pronax. That'd be the three-man Godsent roster, joined by Forrest and Freiberg. Obviously, losing Lekro to NiP, and they would then drop Snyder, not Disco. They would drop Snyder, and Snyder would then allegedly, funnel down. If you trickle down the evidence of these teams, we obviously have NiP, probably the better of these Swedish teams as of right now. Godsent might have been a few months ago. NiP has their roster trickled down to Godsent. That's Forrest and Freiberg joining Godsent. They lose Lekro, and they drop Snyder. Snyder eventually would go to Epsilon, or that's actually the least likely of all these projections here as of right now. Snyder joining Epsilon. He might join some other team out there, and that would trickle down to our final roster. So a little recap, we would have NiP's roster being Get Right, Exist, Draken, Rez, and Lekro. They would lose Forrest and Freiberg, who would go to Godsent to join Twist, Disco, and Pronax. And then we have Epsilon's roster, who is very broken because they lose Rez to NiP, and they also gained Snyder from Godsent, but they also lost many players back in April. They lost Cali, one of their newest add-ons, and they already had a four-man roster, and this kind of evens that out. So now the actual Epsilon roster going forward would indeed be Freddie B and Barbar, who have been there for quite some time. They were both with Rez and Draken, who they lost. They actually lose Rez, and they gain back Snyder. So it would be Freddie B, Barbar, Snyder, and their fourth member, the newest one we actually had signed a few days ago for a $10,000 buyout by Epsilon from his actual team. I think it was Endpoint. That would be the UK player Smuya. So that would be their roster going forward, and those are my projections as of right now for the Swedish Shuffle. Nothing guaranteed, nothing 100%, but the four-man, the Forrest Freiberg duo would actually stay together, but that four-man NiP lineup will be broken up, and Get Right will not be playing with those guys, and also keep Exist on that roster. So also big news, I want to make this a longer video and obviously make it worth your while. If those don't go through, that's just what's most likely for my source, close to those pro players as of right now, but also for the Cloud9 roster change coming sometime soon. Now, earlier this past week, or a couple weeks ago, we actually had Shroud come out on stream and said he was projecting himself to quit or retire from CSGO sometime in 2018 is what he saw for himself. Now, you can imagine as a teammate or maybe a team organization owner, hearing Shroud say that, that's probably not the best thing to hear your players say. It's like the whole, we had Heroic Yugi. They picked up Yugi from Tricked Esports because on Tricked Esports, the Danish team, who actually is a build team, he said he wasn't really committed. He was fielding other offers, and the team saw that as him not being committed to the team itself, and they benched him. Heroic now bought him out from his bench spot, luckily for him. But that's kind of the same instance we have here for Shroud. If you're not going to be, full on to this commitment long term, I can see Cloud9 really wanting to replace him before 2018 does come around, whether or not they do make the major qualifier. So some potential sub-ins or actual replacements for Shroud going forward have been the following list of people. We do have current energy player. That will be Brezzy on screen for all of you guys. He's definitely an option out there, performing quite well for Energy, who did decently well in ESL Pro League for the North American side of things. We also have a pick that Thorin did call. That's actually FNS, currently plays for CLG, also playing very well. He could definitely fix their issues. Thorin had a good call there. But my favorite one, guys, former TSM and current Misfits member, that is Sick on screen for all of you guys, a former teammate of Twist. Twist is also a former TSM member, and many of you guys know he's also one of your better players out there, currently on Team Liquid, only 17 years old. Sick was his teammate back in the day. He's just 18 years old and performed just as well as Twist did on many occasions. They were your two standout players for TSM towards the end of their CSGO days. So that was crazy to see. So those are our options, guys. We have Energy Brezzy, who we also have alongside CLG FNS and former TSM and now Misfits Sick. Those are three players that Cloud9 has been trialing out and trying out so far to replace Shroud on Cloud9's roster. Going forward, we don't know who they're going to choose. I would recommend Sick as a young star to build up himself, but those are your alleged Cloud9 members to replace Shroud sometime soon. I'm going to project and go on a limb here and say sometime in 2017. Could it be in 2018 for sure, but I think it might be a little sooner than you guys think. So hope you guys all enjoyed this type of video. If you guys did, please drop a like or leave a comment down below if you guys want me to leak these kind of things, or just share with all of you guys my projections, which could be wrong, but I doubt. I think we have some close sources here. Leave a comment down below what you guys think. As always, live, love, laugh a lot. Thank you all for the great support so far this past week or so. It just so happens when you drop your gambling sponsor and I have a new intro for you guys love the videos even more. So thank you all. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. If you guys don't want to, that's fine. Live, love, laugh a lot. Remember, I like you. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Remember, I like you. Goodbye.
Everything he's going to be jumping down does make some noise, but not enough. Oh, are you kidding me?